Hello, friends! Today we will learn English through the inspiring and powerful story of Nelson Mandela, a man who spent 27 years in prison, forgave his enemies, and became the first Black president of South Africa. This story will help you improve your vocabulary, listening, and speaking skills, and at the same time, fill you with hope, strength, and courage. Let's begin. Nelson Mandela was born on July 18, 1918, in the small village of Mvezo, in the Eastern Cape of South Africa. His birth name was Rolihlahla Mandela, which means pulling the branch of a tree, or more commonly, troublemaker. He belonged to the Thembu royal family of the Xhosa tribe. Though his family had royal roots, they lived a simple life. His father, Gadla Henry Mfakanyiswa, was a local chief and advisor to the king. His mother, Nosekeni, was kind and deeply spiritual. When Mandela was just 9 years old, his father died, and he was sent to live with a powerful chief who became his guardian. There, he listened to stories of African heroes and warriors, stories that shaped his sense of justice and leadership. Mandela was a bright student. He attended missionary schools where he learned English and studied history, geography, and law. His teachers gave him the English name Nelson, a common practice in colonial schools at the time. He later enrolled at the University of Fort Hare, one of the few places where Black students could receive higher education. While there, Mandela stood up for student rights and was eventually expelled for participating in a protest. He moved to Johannesburg and continued his law studies at the University of Witwatersrand. In the city, Mandela witnessed the harsh realities of apartheid, a cruel system that separated people by race and gave all the power to the white minority. Black South Africans lived in poverty and were treated unfairly in their own land. This injustice sparked a fire in Mandela's heart. He decided to fight, not with violence, but with courage, law, and truth. In 1944, Mandela joined the African National Congress, ANC, a political group fighting for the rights of Black South Africans. He helped start the ANC Youth League, which pushed for more direct action. Mandela organized boycotts, strikes, and peaceful protests against unjust laws. In 1952, he opened South Africa's first Black law firm with his friend Oliver Tambo, offering free legal help to people who had no voice. The government saw Mandela as a threat. They banned him from public speaking and closely watched his every move. By 1961, Mandela and the ANC began to believe that peaceful protest alone would not bring change. He helped form Umkhonto we Sizwe, or Spear of the Nation, a group that carried out sabotage on government buildings, avoiding harm to people. In 1962, Mandela was arrested and later charged with sabotage and conspiracy. During the Rivonia trial, he gave a speech that moved the world. He said, "I have fought against white domination, and I have fought against Black domination. I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society. It is an ideal for which I am prepared to die." Mandela was sentenced to life imprisonment and sent to the harsh Robben Island prison. Mandela spent 27 years in prison, mostly on Robben Island. His cell was tiny. He did hard labor in the lime quarry, slept on the floor, and was only allowed one visitor every 6 months and one letter per year. Despite this, he never gave up. He read books, studied law, and inspired fellow prisoners. He became a global symbol of hope and resistance. "Prison is a test of a man's commitment to his cause," he said. "If you truly believe in your mission, no prison walls can hold your spirit." Over the years, international pressure grew. People around the world demanded, "Free Nelson Mandela." Finally, on February 11, 1990, Nelson Mandela walked free. He was 71 years old, but his spirit was still young, filled with peace, courage, and love. Instead of calling for revenge, he called for forgiveness. "As I walked out the door toward my freedom, I knew that if I didn't leave my bitterness and hatred behind, I'd still be in prison," he said. He began talks with the South African government to end apartheid. In 1993, Mandela and President F.W. de Klerk were awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for their efforts. In 1994, South Africa held its first democratic election, where all races could vote. Millions of people waited in long lines to make history. Nelson Mandela became the country's first black president. As president, he focused on healing the nation through peace, forgiveness, and unity. He formed a government with people from all races and worked to rebuild the country. After serving just one term, Mandela stepped down in 1999, showing that leadership is about service, not power. Even after retiring, Mandela continued to promote peace, education, and human rights. He founded the Nelson Mandela Foundation to support social justice and inspired millions around the globe. He met with world leaders, encouraged young people, and never stopped spreading hope. Nelson Mandela passed away on December 5th, 2013, at the age of 95. His death was mourned around the world. Leaders, kings, and everyday people came together to honor the man who changed history. Not with hate, but with love. Nelson Mandela's life teaches us powerful lessons. Stand up for what is right, even if you stand alone. Forgiveness is stronger than hatred. Never give up, no matter how long it takes. Education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. As he once said, it always seems impossible until it is done. That's the end of today's story. We hope you learned something new, improved your English, and felt inspired by the life of Nelson Mandela. Remember, your voice matters. Your dreams matter. Keep believing in yourself and keep practicing your English. See you in the next story.